John McClory.
Senate Education Chair Brian Campion of Bennington says, we need guardrails on religious school practices to protect the students and the staff. Really? Somebody needs to explain to Chairman Campion that when parents have effective choice, their children don't need to be protected by overbearing government bureaucrats working to preserve their public school near monopoly. They can choose another school. When public schools start losing students, they need to improve the quality of their offerings and jettison some ideological baggage to win them back. But the public school leadership wants to have the government eliminate the competition. Wealthy parents can always send their children to St. George's School, like Howard Dean, or the Buxton School, like Peter Shumlin. But the public school lobby simply can't tolerate the state funding the children of everyone else to attend Rice Memorial. I strongly support the Vermont constitutional provision against compelled taxpayer support of worship, including pervasively sectarian education. Making sectarian schools dependent on public appropriations sets up a dangerous political dynamic that our founding fathers were well aware would be seriously divisive. But our Constitution's no compelled support clause is satisfied when the state offers a pro-rata rebate to taxpayers who object to tuition grants to faith-based schools. Tuition grants to parents to choose what's best for their children will force complacent public schools to respond to competition instead of coasting along untroubled by dissatisfied customers who can afford nowhere else to turn. This is John McClory. Thanks for listening.
The Brady Farkas Show is produced and funded by WDEV and the Radio Vermont Group. We welcome listener feedback. Email your comments to wdev@radiovermont.com.
The teams you care about.
When you think about the Patriots' needs this offseason, look for one trait: explosiveness.
The stories that matter to you.
I'm not convinced that Ben Shungu, that he's not the league player of the year.
This is your home for New England sports.
Bobby Dahlbeck playing third base this year? Now that is interesting.
This is the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
What's up, everybody? Brady Farkas Show. It is a Friday. We made it here on WDEV AM and FM and WDEVradio.com. Full show today, all 90 minutes. We go right up until 7 o'clock. Programming note on WDEV, reminder, high school basketball championship Saturday is now championship Sunday. Because of the weather, we'll still have all three games. Our coverage will begin at 11:45 a.m. That's on Sunday. Division 4 boys title game, Blue Mountain and White River Valley. We have a ton to get to. Boy, do we have a ton to get to. We're going to talk with ESPN broadcaster Doug Sherman. He's on the call for the America East title game tomorrow between UVM and UMBC. He'll be with me in about 15 minutes. We got more on the baseball agreement and what it all means. We're going to talk about that big story in USA Today on Kendall Ware's allegations against the UVM athletic department and how they handled her sexual assault allegations. We got some notes on the Patriots as well. You can get in on the Napa Morrisville, Napa Waterbury text line, 802-585-3026, your locally owned Napa stores in Waterbury and Morrisville. And you can also get in on the Facebook live stream and on that YouTube stream. You can get your comments in there in real time. Everybody, Lego.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And here we go.
The opening thoughts on the Brady Farkas Show are brought to you by Sticks and Stuff and by Swanton Lumber, Vermont's most complete locally owned home center, with locations in Enosburg, Derby, Middlesex, St. Albans, and at Swanton Lumber. They're online at sticksandstuff.com. Before we get into everything, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow morning we are broadcasting live from the America East title game. UVM, UMBC, winner goes to the NCAA tournament. Winner gets on your bracket on Selection Sunday. We're going to be there. And I promise you, I don't like to sound arrogant, but we are going to have the best pregame show, the best pregame experience in the entire state. That I am confident of. Our management team is behind this. I am on board with this. Our staff believes in this, and our guest list to boot is going to be awesome as well. Here's what's going to happen. 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. It's going to be a 90-minute show, same length as this show. Come for 5 minutes, come for 55 minutes, come for 85 minutes. Just come hang out with us and be a part of the experience. 9 a.m. until 10:30. I'm going to be live at UVM getting ready for the game, giving you all the insight, having all the guests. Now, here's what you need to know. It's going to be done all digitally. And I know that that's different. And I know some people are like, I'm not going to look if it's not on the actual radio. I get that. I respect that. The radio is ultimately always the thing that's most important to us. But this digital avenue will give us just another way to get great content out to people. So Facebook Live, YouTube Live. If you watch the Brady Farkas show already on those ways, or if you've ever seen it on those channels, it's just an extension of that. It's super easy. You're going to go to WDEV's Facebook page. You're going to go to YouTube, type in WDEV, and you're going to see we're broadcasting live. And you're going to be able to watch us. Watch us on your phone. Watch us on your tablet, on your iPad. Watch us on your TV if you've got the YouTube app on your TV. But you can take us anywhere. And heck, if you're driving around, plug us into your car, with your USB or your aux cord or whatever, and drive around listening to us. It's going to be a blast. I love going to the America East title game. This will be my fourth time doing it in 6 years, okay? This will be my fourth time doing it in the 6 years that I've been here. Last year, they didn't get there. Year before was the COVID year, and it got canceled, and I would have gone. I love going to the America East title game. And we've already got 3 guests confirmed. We're working on 1 to 2 more to hang out with us in that 90 minutes. Dave Kane is going to stop by. Dave Kane is a former UVM basketball broadcaster. He is now the voice of the Milwaukee Bucks, and he started at UVM, and he's going to be with me on that show. And we're going to do a video conversation, Dave Kane and I. So you're going to be able to watch us having our video chat, and you're going to be able to hang out with us. You can interact with us in real time. You can comment in real time. You can ask questions of our guests if you want to in real time. So Dave Kane's going to stop by. Sam Hyman is going to stop by. He's another former UVM broadcaster. He called the UVM loss at the buzzer against UMBC a couple of years ago, and what would have been 2018, I think it would have. Yeah, 2018. Sam Hyman was on the call for that heartbreaking, gutting loss at Patrick Gym. I was there. So Sam's going to be with me. My old radio partner, Arnie Spanier, is going to stop by and hang out with me. So if you loved the show that Arnie and I used to do together, well, Arnie's going to be joining me in a part of that 90 minutes. He's going to be with me at about 9:30. So you can tell I'm jazzed up about this. I'm jazzed up about the game. I'm jazzed up that it's on national television. I'm jazzed up that Burlington and Vermont are going to be in the spotlight nationally. I'm jazzed up that the Cats have a chance to go dancing yet again and maybe pull the upset that we've been talking about. And I'm jazzed up that we're trying something different. Simply put, I said this a little bit yesterday. WDEV has been around for 90 years. And it's been around for 90 years, one, because of great listeners and great advertisers. We could not do this without you. But two, we're around because we just always have done what we do well, right? We've always brought you what we do well. But you also get around 90 years because you're innovative and you're willing to take some chances. So that's what we're doing here. Doing the whole thing digitally. It's different. It's new. It's exciting, and I hope that a lot of you will come in and join us as well. So come on and hang out. Steve says, I can't wait. Joe says, I can't wait for Arnie. I missed those days, actually. I saw Arnie at Dunkin' Donuts in Williston. Someone else says, I can't wait for Arnie, too. What, am I not good enough? It's like I'm not good enough without Arnie? No, I love Arnie. Arnie's going to be with me at 9:30. I'm going to tell the story about how I almost threw Arnie out of the America East title game in 2017. In 2017, I almost threw Arnie out of the America East title game. I'll tell that story to everybody on the air tomorrow. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you watch the show like this already, you're already used to it. If you don't, come and try us out tomorrow. It's going to be a different way. It's going to be a fun way. Dave Kane stopping by, Sam Hyman stopping by, Arnie stopping by. 1 or 2 guests maybe on site stopping by. We're putting the finishing touches on a couple of things there. So that is going to be a blast tomorrow. We'll start it at 9 o'clock, and It will go up until 10:30. I had wanted to start the show with the baseball stuff. I don't really have time to do that justice before Doug Sherman comes on. So let me kind of just get this note out there on the Patriots. Let me get to a Patriots related note, but this is relatively quick. Doug Kyde, our friend over at Pro Football Focus, the reports are out that multiple teams are potentially interested in trading for wide receiver Nikhil Harry. Multiple teams are apparently interested in trading for Nikhil Harry. He is a trade candidate to watch. My first thought is, if you're the Patriots, do it. My second thought, if you're any other team, is why? Why would another team trade for Nikhil Harry? He has been a colossal disappointment, and now he only has 1 year left on his contract. Like, there's not a lot of value there anymore for the Patriots or anybody else. Last year, with 2 years left, I thought there was upside for the Patriots or any acquiring team. Right now, there's none. If I'm the Patriots, I would trade Nikhil Harry for any draft pick. The last pick in the draft, a 5th-round pick, a 7th-round pick, next year's 7th-round pick, does not matter. I would trade Nikhil Harry for any draft pick. He does absolutely nothing for me anymore. He's averaged 19 catches a season and like 200 yards a season over his first 3 years. He's been injured multiple times. He's requested a trade. I just don't need him. I don't need Nikhil Harry anymore. I don't know why another team would want him, but if they do, you can have him. I defended Nikhil Harry a lot. I was excited to watch Nikhil Harry a lot. I gave Nikhil Harry a lot of chances to grow. I gave him a lot of excuses for poor performance. I am done with that now. Oft injured, his agent requested a trade when he shouldn't have, and unproductive. Nikhil Harry has failed with 3 separate quarterbacks. I don't know if it's going to happen somewhere else for him, but it's sure as hell not going to happen here. Didn't work with Tom Brady, didn't work with Cam Newton, didn't work with Mac Jones. It just hasn't worked. It's not going to work here. If somebody else wants him, you can have him. I will take any draft pick for Nikhil Harry. Like right now, I've got Kendrick Bourne, I've got Nelson Aguilar, and I've got who I want to bring back in Jacoby Myers. If I do that right off the bat, then, I've already got 3 wide receivers there. I've got 2 tight ends. Like, I want to draft 1 to 2 more receivers. They may bring in a veteran wide receiver as well through trade or whatever. There's just no place for somebody that unproductive. I have no time for somebody that unproductive. Somebody says on the text line, I agree he's been a huge bust, but take advantage of this and get something back. What you're getting back will not be that valuable, but it will be something. That 7th-round pick, the chance of it turning into a lottery ticket, or the chance of it turning into the golden ticket, rather, that's worth more to me now than Nikhil Harry is. Draft a wide receiver. Maybe they'll trade for a wide receiver. Maybe they'll sign a wide receiver. Nikhil Harry is going to get so pushed down the depth chart in my offense, he's got no place in my offense. If I were a team, I don't know why you trade for him. I'd just wait to see if the Patriots cut him, and then I could sign him without having to give up anything. But that's beside the point. If you're going to give up something, then I will take it. I will take it. I don't need Nikhil Harry on my 2022 Patriots. I was shocked to see that that column there, or that note by Doug Kyde over at Pro Football Focus. So more people excited about what's going on the broadcast tomorrow. I'm glad people are texting in and excited about that. Again, 9 over until about 10:30. So 9 until 10:30. All right. The guy who's going to be calling the game on national television. I do the pregame show 9 to 10:30, and then Doug Sherman takes over from that point on with your national TV call. Doug Sherman, ESPN broadcaster. He's going to be in Burlington tomorrow. He's going to join me on the phone. That's next on the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV.
WDEV at 90 is brought to you in part by New England Municipal Resource Center, NEMRIC, proudly supporting local government, local businesses, and WDEV.
Spring is almost here, and the sunniest days of the year are fast approaching. Hi, Tara here from Green Mountain Solar. Now's the best time to beat the summer solar install rush. Our full-time staff installs year-round, so you can get the most out of your solar panels right off the bat. By adding solar to your home or business early this year, you get to take advantage of all the sunny days to come. When your system produces more power than your home or business uses, the surplus builds credits to pay for the electricity when the days are short again. That's the beauty of Vermont Net Metering. All Green Mountain solar systems come with monitoring, so you get to watch as your panels generate more and more power. Our solar advisors are ready to walk you through the process step by step, so you can make the best choice for your home or business. No hard sales, no hidden costs, and no pressure. Just the clean, resilient energy system that's right for you. Visit greenmtnsolar.com to get started. That's greenmtnsolar.com.
In a world where a single touch can threaten the surfaces of your home, there's Microban 24. Just one spray fights bacteria all day.
Bacteria incoming. Shields up, defenders.
When used as directed, Microban 24 sanitizing spray forms a defensive shield that keeps killing 99.9% of bacteria for up to 24 hours. Touch after touch.
Threat eliminated.
Microban 24. Don't just sanitize it, microban it. Now spraying in a store near you.
Wait, aren't these all charitable donations?
At Magda's Tax Prep, every person counts.
I'd rather not have to file for an extension.
She needs new auditors to maximize returns on her family time.
On itemized deductions. Hey, can someone help with these 1099s?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
My Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
But early detection allowed us to take control of the situation together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We all know that Vermont is a place like no other. Join host Ricks and Gary for Vermont Viewpoint, weekday mornings from 9 to 11, as he celebrates what makes Vermont so unique and special. If you can't listen live, you can always listen to the free podcast available at WDEVradio.com. Brought to you by the Warren Store. Funky, friendly, and almost world-famous WarrenStore.com. The Vermont Viewpoint podcast at WDEVradio.com. The Brady Farkas Show now has an interactive text line, so reach out now at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back, Brady Farkas Show, right here on this Friday on WDEV AM and FM and WDEVradio.com. Right now, we're continuing to count down to tomorrow's America East title game. For the sixth time in 7 years, your UVM Catamounts are in this game. They're taking on UMBC, 11 a.m. The game going to be nationally televised on the ESPN family of networks. I'm going to be there in person, broadcasting live before the game on our Facebook Live and YouTube channels. I'll be out at Patrick Gym at 9 a.m. But joining me now is Doug Sherman. He's an ESPN broadcaster. He's on the call for tomorrow morning's game on those ESPN networks. Doug, thanks for being with us. How are you?
Oh, I'm just great. How are you, Brady?
I'm doing very well. Excited for another America East title game. Here's hoping that this America East title game does not go like your Northeast Conference title game from earlier this week. That was wild, huh?
It sure was. And I hope to never see that again anywhere, in person or on television. And for those who don't know or haven't seen or don't remember, on Tuesday night, the Northeast Conference Championship, Wagner and Bryant was marred with about 4.5 minutes left in regulation by a brawl that broke out between the two fan bases right behind the Wagner bench. And there was a half-hour delay. They cleared out some of the stands, and then it was the weirdest night from beginning to end. First of all, that it was a 30-point game in the blink of an eye, and then you had the brawl, and then when you finished the game, they were, quote, playing, but they weren't competing because the game was already decided. They could have just called it. Neither side wanted. So the excitement about the fact that Bryant is about to make its first ever Division I NCAA tournament, and there's just no energy. I mean, no one's playing, no one's competing. The moment that it struck zero, the clock struck zero, I think there was a sense of, A, relief that nobody had gotten seriously hurt, and B, that Bryant was finally able to celebrate.
Before we get to our game, let me just ask you a quick question on Bryant. They did roll in that title game. What did you make of Bryant in the program? Because there's a lot of rumors they may be joining the America East maybe as early as next year to replace Stony Brook. So what was your overall impression?
Yeah, that's the sense I get, too, that Bryant is not long for the Northeast Conference of the America East is what I'm hearing as well. They are a program led by Jared Grosso, who played at Quinnipiac, was an interim head coach at Fordham, then a longtime assistant and associate at Iona College, and he's taken a lot of those principles that have worked so well at Iona and put them into Bryant the last 4 years. So they play up-tempo, they play a fun style, and I think they would absolutely be a formidable opponent sooner than later, assuming Coach Grosso stays in place, if they were to come on to the America East Conference. And this year's team, they have a couple of big-time players. Peter Kiss is leading the country in scoring, and then Charles Pride averaging points per game. So they're the highest scoring duo in the country. So they're legit. I don't know if they can win an NCAA tournament game, but in the Northeast Conference, and if they were to go to the America East, I think Bryant would absolutely be in the mix.
You've been to Patrick Gym multiple times before. You've been here for an America East title game. What are your thoughts on the environment up here in Burlington as we get ready for tip-off here about 20 hours from now?
It's fantastic. And and for the folks who are listening to this, I assume the majority have been, and many of them will be tomorrow morning at Patrick Gym. It's great. It's fantastic. It's small. It's intimate. People care. The people know the game of basketball, and they certainly know their catamounts. So all the ingredients come together for a wonderful home court advantage.
Doug Sherman, ESPN broadcaster. He's here with us on the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. He's on the call for ESPN tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., Catamounts, UMBC in that conference title game. You've been calling games all season long. You call games all over the country, all over the Northeast. What is your research like in getting ready for this game for a couple of teams you haven't seen much of this year?
Well, it feels like cramming for a final exam that maybe you made it to a couple of recitations during the semester, but by and large, you haven't been following that closely. So, we find out as soon as the semifinals are done, and, you expect Vermont to get there every year. And so when I found out I was assigned to the America East probably about 2 weeks ago, you immediately start thinking about it, and you figure, well, I'm going to wind up in Burlington unless something crazy happens. So you're sort of paying attention, but you don't put you don't get out too much in front of it because you don't want to spend all that time researching and getting ready for the Catamounts. If 2 days out they get upset, and then all of a sudden you got to learn the Binghamton Bearcats. So it's a cram session, and so you watch the two semifinals a couple of nights ago, and from that point forward, it's a sprint to try and learn everything you can. And the good news is, as you've mentioned, I've been to Burlington twice in the last 4 years. So I've dealt with Coach Becker and have a friend to work from.
Doug, I won't put you on the spot here because you're not following the team regularly, but I am just curious. It was after the semifinal win, John Becker said something to the effect of, I'm paraphrasing, I know people around here take this success for granted, but this is really hard to do. And I don't know if that was a pseudo shot at the fans or a pseudo shot at the administration, or maybe it was nothing. I'm just curious. You've been in a lot of press conferences before. If a coach says something like that, does it raise your eyebrows at all, or is it just a throwaway line in one of many lines in press conferences?
Well, Brady, to me, it's more of a throwaway. There may be meaning behind it, and probably is, but, he's saying the truth, and the reality is, ever since Tom Brennan got this thing going, it is absolutely, utterly remarkable that in this part of the country, in this part of the state of Vermont that does not produce a lot of Division I athletes or Division I basketball players, that not only can they get there, but that they have sustained it for decades now is absolutely remarkable. And the way they have, again, lapped the field this year, it defies logic, and so Coach Becker is not blowing smoke. He, to me, does not sound like he's doing anything but telling the truth, and maybe that's his way of tweaking the administration or tweaking the fan base. I don't know, but I don't. It doesn't really raise an eyebrow to me, and it is, as you said, you you talk to enough coaches around the country, you get used to certain things, and certainly, coach speak. That's kind of the way it goes at every level.
Catamounts 17-1 in conference this year. Their only loss was to Hartford when they were undermanned, missing 2 people in their starting lineup. But based on your research, based on what you hear others say about UVM, what makes them so good? What are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the development of players who I have seen over the years. I've not seen Ryan Davison since he blossomed Player of the Year. And I know he was a good recruit coming from the Midwest, but he wasn't in the greatest shape when he got to Burlington. He had injuries. And that he has turned into just the latest legacy player in this program's unbelievable history over the last 20-plus years. I'm looking forward to seeing him, and I'm looking forward to seeing Benny Shungu, who, again, when I last saw them, he was a bit player, and now with Steph gone to St. John's, and to see him ascend into this position where he is, and the fact that he's from South Burlington, and he basically every March is playing a championship game at Patrick Gymnasium. I'm looking forward to seeing him. It's been a decade he has been between high school and college, as you know, playing meaningful basketball in the city, and so those are the 2 guys, the older guys who have been through it, and to see where they are now as compared to the last time I saw them a couple of years ago.
Doug, get you out on this. Can UMBC do anything to make fans up here squirrely? What's their formula for tomorrow?
To say anything other than no, we were in the building when Jarrett Lyle, we know how that feels, and they weren't supposed to do that then either. So, yes, of course they can, but it just seems like, based on everything we've seen from the Catamounts this year and everything we've seen that had matchups with UMBC, that the Retrievers are really going to be overmatched. But, we saw in the ACC tournament yesterday, Duke and Syracuse, the Blue Devils blew out the Orange in their 2 regular season meetings, and then Syracuse nearly knocked them off. So it's tournament time. You just never know. But, short of something, game of the year, together a scenario, not cutting down the net tomorrow morning.
Doug Sherman, ESPN broadcaster, on the call tomorrow. Nationally televised game, America East title game, 11 a.m. UVM UMBC. Catamounts in this game for the 6th time in the last 7 seasons. Doug, appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you at Patrick Gym tomorrow morning. Enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you again down the road.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks so much, Brady.
Absolutely. There goes Doug Sherman. Always love connecting with him. Last time we saw him, UVM had beaten UMBC in the conference final in 2019. That was the last time that I saw Doug Sherman up at Patrick Gym calling the America East title game. And it was interesting. You could tell his phone was dropping out just a little bit at the end. It's funny because Doug Sherman is from Albany, just like I am. And Doug Sherman actually was the TV anchor at the CBS affiliate in Albany. Like, I grew up like him narrating my high school highlights, actually. Now, I didn't have many, but my team's highlights. But so when I called him, he's driving up to Burlington right now. So he's driving up to Vermont as we speak. And he told me, like, hey, I'm down to do this, but like, just so you know, my cell is like a little bit iffy. I'm like, oh, where are you? He goes, oh, I'm getting near Addison County. I was like, yep. I have done this. How many times have I done this drive between Albany and Vermont? I know exactly where he's talking about. There is a stretch there. We're talking like Benson, Orwell. Like, when you start getting in there, and like when you get between there and Virgins, you're absolutely at the liberty of just God knows what. Like, your phone could say you have 5 bars of coverage and your thing could be dead. Like, you could just lose service. So I'm happy that we got Doug as well as we did. A couple of minor drops, but I know exactly where he's talking about when he says I'm driving through almost Addison County. I'm like, yep, been there many times, lost many calls. I do love what Doug had to say about Bryant. Not the fight that they had in the Northeast Conference title game with Wagner, but I've been down on Bryant potentially coming to the America East. At least he tells me that, one, he is hearing that's going to happen. So I might as well. There's no point in fighting it. I might as well embrace it. And if I'm going to look for the positive, he says that they have a good setup there. Okay, fine. If I have to take it, I have to find the positive. So then there's the game itself, which Doug talked about. UVM should roll. UVM beat UMBC twice. They rolled them, especially at their place. I mean, my God, they were up like 30-7 or something at their place. So Catamounts were 6 games better than UMBC in the league. They should win this game by double figures. I tried to find the Vegas line on this game. It's not out yet, but I bet UVM's favored by like 11.5 at least. It shouldn't be close. But if you're looking for a reason to be nervous, to Doug's point, like they play the game for a reason. If you're looking for a reason to be nervous because UMBC is the second best offensive team in the league. They average the exact same amount of points as UVM. They're the best free throw shooting team in the league. They're the best 3-point shooting team in the league. All it takes is one hot game. That is all it takes. One hot game to pull an upset. I hope that game is not tomorrow. If UVM plays defense like they've been doing, like they did against NJIT, like they did against Binghamton, then UMBC won't have a chance to get hot. But there is the opportunity there. UMBC has good numbers. So tomorrow, 11 a.m., and we'll be broadcasting live at 9 a.m. When we come back, National News Update is first, and then we'll get into the Major League Baseball agreement. We'll talk a little bit more about what happened with the CBA, and we will tell you exactly where the players made out well, where they didn't, and one thing that the fans need to be a little wary of. We'll talk about all of it on the other side of the CBS National News Update. It is the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM and FM.
96.1 WDEV FM Warren, 96.5 W243 AT Berry, 98.3 W252 CU Montpelier, AM 550 WDEV Waterbury.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Dell Small Business.
I'm Stacey Lynn in Washington. President Biden sending a stern message to Vladimir Putin today, saying there will be a severe penalty should he use chemical weapons in Ukraine.
After he announced the U.S. and its allies in the G7 and Europe would remove Russia from their lists of normalized trading partners, the president was asked about the possibility that Vladimir Putin might order the use of chemical weapons in Ukraine.
Russia would pay a severe price if they use chemical weapons.
Earlier, he said this about the prospect of a direct military engagement between Russia and the West.
Direct confrontation between NATO and Russia is World War III.
Something he says the allies must strive to prevent. Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, the White House.
Stores in Russia are restricting some staple items now with more sanctions being imposed. Local supermarkets have limited sales of things like flour, sugar, pasta, and canned meat. Vice President Harris was in Romania today, where she got emotional addressing the humanitarian crisis happening in Ukraine.
It is painful to watch. It is painful to watch what is happening to innocent people.
Many refugees are struggling, trying to figure out where to go.
Lena Nurek is a U.S. citizen living in New Hampshire who flew to Romania the first day of the bombing in Odessa, Ukraine, to bring her family back.
It's only our hope, one hope.
Her mom, brother, sister-in-law, and niece joined them in Bucharest, but only her mother was granted a non-immigrant visa.
Before us, I was watching, it was like 5 other couples. No one got visa, no one.
Nurek says they will reapply next week, but has a plea.
Just let them in to U.S.
Allison Keyes, CBS News.
Meanwhile, North Korea has conducted 2 ballistic missiles tests. Here's CBS's Cami McCormick.
The Pentagon says the range isn't clear, but North Korea is likely evaluating this new system before conducting a test at full range in the future. Potentially, it says, disguised as a space launch. That would be the most significant provocation in years. The U.S. has ordered intensified surveillance activity in the Yellow Sea and enhanced readiness of U.S. ballistic missile defense forces in the region.
About 50 million Americans are in the path of a winter storm. Here's WCBS meteorologist Craig Allen.
This is going to be a high-impact storm for many areas from the Ohio and Tennessee Valley over to the eastern seaboard and up and down the entire I-95 corridor. It will start with rain and thunderstorms and change over to a heavy wind-driven snow to be falling at 1 to 2 inches per hour.
Old Man Winter isn't playing nice. This is CBS News.
Dell's semi-annual sale has arrived. Save up to 45% on Dell business computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Just call 877-ASK-DELL.
I need 4 more of the biscuit carnitas, 2 burnt end platters, 3...
The kitchen at Kai's Barbecue is firing on all cylinders.
Greg, help me bring these to the pickup counter.
He needs food runners who can hit the ground quickly.
86 on the chicken and we're short-staffed. Let's pick it up.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. Being a baseball fanatic like me can be stressful. It's not all sports points and touchdowns. So Progressive is going to help you take your mind off your team for a moment. Instead of thinking about how they missed that goal point score, think about the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, letting you choose coverage options based on your budget. Unlike your team that missed the end zone net area. Well, anyway, hope this distraction about Progressive's Name Your Price tool was helpful. It sure kept me from thinking about all those penalty balls. Yay, sports!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Just because you're away from your radio or out of our broadcast range doesn't mean you have to miss out. Listen live on the WDEV stream, brought to you by AARP Vermont. WDEV's morning, midday, and afternoon news services, Vermont Viewpoint, and the Brady Farkas Show can all be found on the WDEV stream at WDEVradio.com. Brought to you by AARP Vermont, working to bring down the cost of prescription drugs for all Americans. AARP.org/VT.
What's up, everybody? Brady Farkas here. I want to invite all of you to join me Saturday morning, March 12th, from 9 to 10:30 as I broadcast live from Patrick Gym in the America East men's basketball title game. UVM and UMBC Catamounts looking to get back to the NCAA tournament. I'll be broadcasting live with a pregame show and a ton of great guests from 9 to 10:30, and we're doing it all digitally, right on the WDEV Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. Go follow them, WDEV on Facebook and YouTube. Watch the pregame show live Saturday morning with Patrick Gym, 9 to 10:30.
Think you know sports better than Brady does? Text in with your thoughts at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show, right here on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. Going up until 7 o'clock, and then it's Jazz with George Thomas. Reminder of the show brought to you in part by Pro Driver Training. That's Pro Driver Training, Vermont's premier truck driver training school, online at prodrivercdl.com. They've got facilities in Enosburg and in Milton, and they could be the next best step in your career. Coming up at about 6:30, we're going to talk about that serious story in the Burlington Free Press and USA Today yesterday about Kendall Ware's allegations against the UVM athletic department. I told you yesterday I would not ignore that story. I'm not going to. We're going to talk about it at 6:30. And I also acknowledge, as I did yesterday, that as excited as I am for tomorrow, as happy as I am for a lot of the people in Catamount country and a lot of the fans, I know it all comes against this darker, more sinister backdrop. So we're going to do our best to talk about both sides. There is the on-court excitement. There is the community excitement. There is the state pride. And I think all of that is fine if you feel that. But we also need to acknowledge that there is another side to right now the story of the UVM athletic department. We're going to talk about that at about 6:30. Okay, also a reminder this weekend, remember Division 4, 2, 3 high school basketball on the boys' side. Those state championships have been pushed from Saturday to Sunday because of inclement weather. So we're going to start our coverage on Sunday morning, 11:45. The D4 game is up first. All right, let's take a little bit deeper look at the Major League Baseball deal. Let's talk a little bit about what happened to Major League Baseball with the ratification of the collective bargaining agreement. We'll kind of catch our bearings as to what has come out. The most important thing, the deal is signed. Players are reporting. Spring training officially starts on Sunday. We're going to get games going within the next week. Opening day is April 7th. The deal is done. We know that. We'll kind of go through a little bit of what it all means. First and foremost, I am surprised. We have not seen yet the flurry of deals that I thought was coming. I really thought that by last night, we'd have several deals reported, and it just didn't happen. I mean, I saw one lower level deal reported by about 10 a.m. today. Martin Perez, the former Red Sox pitcher, he signed with the Texas Rangers. Just now, within the last 10 minutes, Clayton Kershaw, unsurprisingly, went back to the Dodgers on a one-year deal. We did see Carlos Rodon sign with the Giants. That disappoints me. I wanted the Red Sox to get him. And Andrelton Simmons, the slick fielding shortstop, looks like he's going to head to the Chicago Cubs. That's going to be big because potentially it means that Carlos Correa won't head to the Cubs. So we are seeing some things come out now, but it's still like 5 deals or less. I really thought that last night the floodgates were going to open. We have not seen that yet. And I guess maybe this points to the idea that baseball people followed the rules more than we figured that they might, right? Like in the NBA and in the NFL, you have the legal tampering period. We know that people are talking to each other. We know at the combine, the groundwork is getting laid. So people are talking even when they're not really supposed to be talking. We know that. That's why deals get announced the minute that a deadline happens, right? The minute the free agency opens up, deals get announced. People were obviously talking before they were supposed to. Maybe this baseball thing points to people followed the rules. They weren't supposed to talk to each other. If they had been talking, we might have gotten deals done ASAP. But instead, there's kind of a re-get-to-know-you process, a re-examining everything, a couple more phone calls, a couple of more connections to be made. Maybe people followed the rules like they were supposed to. Nonetheless, we are going to get a huge flurry of activity. It just hasn't come yet. I've heard more people say they think like within the next week, as spring training, even as spring training is going, you're going to really see things ramp up. Like the next week is going to be crazy. I just thought it was going to be the last few days or the last few hours that were crazy, and that hasn't really been the case yet. Napa Morrisville, Napa Waterbury text line, 802-585-3026. Frank says, don't bring up the story about UVM that's in the USA Today about Kendall Ware. Frank, we're going to talk about it. That is a news story. So we are going to talk about it, and that's going to be that. It's not tabloid stuff. It is a real news story that impacts the program, impacts the athletic department, and therefore impacts you, the fan. And we're going to talk about it, doing that at about 6:30. So back into the Major League Baseball deal. Number one, I think overall, this was a pretty good deal for the players. We spent a lot of time discussing why the owners were the problem, why the owners had been doing this wrong, why the owners were on the wrong side of this debate. And in the end, I think the players got a lot of good things out of this, and I have to credit the owners for coming back towards the middle and meeting the players on a lot of their demands. The competitive balance tax went up. That means that more players can get bigger deals. So the high-end money can be more high-end. The best players in the league can get as much money as possible before penalties are inflicted on teams. That is good for your high-end players. You can also, if you don't want to give out 1 or 2 high-end deals, you can more freely distribute more medium-sized deals. Maybe giving yourself a more balanced roster, a more complete roster. That is good as well. The league minimum went up, which I think was huge. Now players will get, over $700,000 for just being on a big league roster, and that accounts for inflation since the last time the CBA was signed. I'm for younger players or players that won't have long careers having an opportunity to get some more money as well. So I think a large swath of players benefited from what came out yesterday in the CBA. The young, good players got a chance to earn more with this whole pre-arbitration bonus pool, which I'm not going to bore you with, but a lot of the population of players can now make more money. The high-end players can make more high-end money. More players can get closer to high-end money because the teams are more free to spend. Minimum wage went up. That helps the common player. That helps the young player, the player that won't have a chance to get to a big-time contract. At least they can get as much as possible early. And the young, good player now benefits as well because of that pool. So, and you should be happy about that, by the way, because originally the players wanted to hit free agency after 5 years. Now it's 6 years. And I didn't like that. If I'm a fan of the Kansas City Royals or the Pittsburgh Pirates, like you're telling me I'm going to develop a guy and now he's going to leave a year earlier to go play for the Red Sox or the Yankees, I was not okay with that. Now, at least they're going to stay with my team and they're going to make more money. So if the crossover there is, or the trade-off is they stay with my team but they get more, you should be happy for that as well. So a lot of guys are going to make a lot more money. The one group that didn't do well is this group, which Buster Olney told us yesterday.
The middle class among the players, guys, is going to get destroyed. They are going to pay for this lockout because they're just a supply and demand. There's so many unsigned players that it's going to be like a game of musical chairs. And you're going to see guys who maybe in past years might have gotten $5 million, have to settle for $1 million or $2 million.
Well, and that's kind of exactly what happened. That Andrelton Simmons deal, 1 year, $4 million. That's what Buster Olney's talking about. I think Buster is right, and we just saw it there. For these guys, the guys that are caught in the middle right now, they are going to be hurt. Buster is right. Andrelton Simmons is a guy who is a wizard defensively, maybe the best defensive shortstop in the game, maybe the best defensive infielder in the game. Could have easily made 1 year, $8 million. 2 years, $13 million. Instead, he gets 1 year for $4 million. That's proof is in the pudding right there. But ultimately for the sport, I think that this is all good. Guys can make more money when they're younger, more money up along the way. So even if they get squeezed when they're in the position like Simmons is, they won't have gotten squeezed as much on the way up. Number 2, out of the CBA, we are going to see expanded playoffs. We are going to have 12 teams in the playoffs. Here's what Commissioner Rob Manfred said on that.
I think the expanded playoff format will bring postseason baseball and maybe even more importantly, exciting September baseball to more markets.
Rob Manfred is right. Everyone is right. I do like that more teams can experience postseason baseball. I do like that more cities can experience a pennant race. That is good for teams. That is good for fans, especially for young fans. And I'm trying to remember that. You know, I do this show and I know that most of the people listening are adults. I know that I'm an adult. I'm thinking about all of this stuff from an adult perspective. I'm trying to think also of the kids who we're trying to market the game to. If you're a 7-year-old or a 9-year-old in Kansas City and now you get a chance to see your team play meaningful baseball, that might create more fans. If you're a 9-year-old in, a 9-year-old in Seattle, a 9-year-old in Miami, a 12-year-old in Baltimore, whatever. If your city, if your team has a chance to make the playoffs, that's going to create more fans, and that ultimately is good. I don't love the postseason is going to be longer as a result of this. I don't love that now we're going to give out first-round buys in the playoffs, and I don't know how that's going to work in baseball versus how it works in football. There's absolutely pitfalls with a 12-team playoff. I would have preferred them stay at 10. 12 is better than 14. I said all along, I want baseball back. I won't die on this hill. I don't love it. I could find the benefit in it, and I will choose today to talk about those benefits. It has pitfalls. It wouldn't have been my choice, but again, it's better than 14, so I'm okay with the compromise. I will consider it a split. Number 3, we are going back to pre-COVID baseball in most senses of the word. We're getting rid of the 7-inning doubleheaders. We're also getting rid of the runner on second to start extra innings. I am certainly fine going back to 9-inning games all the time. To me, that is baseball. As a fan, I like that my team has every opportunity to come back. If you're down 3-2 after 7, I still got 2 more chances at the plate rather than taking home a loss, and maybe I can snake a win. So we don't play many doubleheaders, so that doesn't matter to me too much. I like 9-inning games. I did like the urgency of 7-inning games. And of course, I'm not a pace of play guy. I'm not a length of game guy, but I too like once in a while a 2-hour and 12-minute game. That was fine. but I'm perfectly fine with 9-inning games being all the time, all season, uniform rules for everybody there. I actually, though, grew to like the runner on second rule to start extra innings. And I'm surprised that I did. I would have kept that. Now, I would have started it in the 12th inning. The 10th inning felt too fluky to me, but the 12th inning helped speed the game up. We avoided 18-inning marathons. We avoided shooting our entire pitching staff. We avoided playing a 7-hour game against the last place team on a Monday night. I liked the entertainment. I liked the strategy. I just would have started it in the 12th instead of the 10th. Let's play real baseball in the 10th and 11th. If we don't get a winner, then we can go to the fluky stuff. We do that in soccer with penalty kicks. We do that in hockey with shootouts. We play some form of real overtime before we go to the fluky stuff. I would have been fine keeping it. I just would have started it later. Lou Merlone, former Red Sox infielder, he liked it as well.
Yeah, I was curious to see how all the rules were going to come into play. And listen, I'm happy they're back. I'm not happy that the guy on second base in extra innings is gone. I'm not happy that the 7-inning doubleheaders are gone. I just figured it was an easy way to make up some of these games. You get again, it's the same issue, right? You get a doubleheader. One of those games goes 15, and then what are we doing?
Yeah, so I like Lou is a little more okay with the 7-inning doubleheaders. Again, I'm fine losing those. I'm with him though. I actually liked that. I actually like that other rule, the runner on second rule. I think a lot of people, though, are happy to see that go. I get it. It is fluky, and I'm usually a purist, too. I ended up, though, growing to like it by the end of the year. Number 4, maybe the most important change of all, the designated hitter is going to be universal. The pitcher is no longer going to bat. This affects all of us in a multitude of ways. More teams are going to be in on certain players, right? American or National League teams can go after Albert Pujols. That's why you hear today, like the Cardinals are reaching out to Albert Pujols, their former star. He can play the designated hitter position for them now. So more teams are in on guys like that. JD Martinez, are the Red Sox going to trade him? Now a bunch of new teams are now in the mix. Nelson Cruz, same thing. Robinson Cano might have a chance to make the Mets now as a DH. Kyle Schwarber, it's not just a foregone conclusion. He goes back to Boston because now the NL is open to him as well. Everybody's going to play by the same rules. So now offense is every player is a fit for every team, and that's going to make the market different and in some ways more competitive. It also, in 2023, not this year, in 2023, everybody having the DH leads us to a more balanced schedule.
I think the balanced schedule will be a real improvement for our fans. It'll give our fans a greater opportunity to see all of the great players in the game on a more regular basis.
So here's the deal. In 2023, we're going to ditch the unbalanced schedule. So what has happened now is that every team in the league would play 19 games against all of their division, right? 19 games against the Yankees, Blue Jays, Orioles, and Rays for the Red Sox. So 19, 38, 57. So 76 of your games would come against the division. Then they would play 7 against the rest of the American League, and then they would play 1 crossover division in the National League. That's how the schedule now works. Beginning next year, the Red Sox are going to be able to play the entire National League. Everybody's playing by the same rules. So there's no need to have this different schedule. So the Red Sox are going to lose some games against their division, and they're going to add in all those other National League teams from the 2 divisions they weren't previously playing. This is good and cool for a couple of reasons. One, Red Sox play in a really hard division. Less games against the Blue Jays, less games against the Yankees, less games against Tampa. I'm all for that. That makes life easier for the Red Sox. Even those games they lose with the Orioles, they're offset to me. They're not. I would not just rather have the wins against the Orioles when I know I'm going to take losses against those other teams. So that's good. I also, to Manfred's point, get to see some of the other teams. More games against the Dodgers. More trips to Wrigley Field. Get a chance to see the young stars, Ronald Acuna Jr. on the Braves. Get a chance to see Fernando Tatis Jr. with the Padres. Good for baseball, good for kids, good for exposure, good all across. Happy to hear about that as well. The one thing that it will remain an issue, Buster Olney told it to us yesterday. Tim Kirkchin of ESPN said it as well.
An executive called me the other day to say, look, the difference between the number 1 pick in the country and the number 6 pick in the country in baseball, there's not a great difference there, okay? You know how much I love basketball. The difference between Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Lou Alcindor and Neil Walk is an enormous difference, all right? But it doesn't work that way in baseball.
So what they're saying is that tanking wasn't properly addressed. That is the one thing missing from this CBA. Tanking not properly addressed. So here's what has happened in the past, right? Handful of teams tank, race to the bottom, try to get the number 1 pick. Now, the bottom 6 teams in the league are going to end up in a lottery, just like in the NBA ping pong ball system type stuff. So the bottom 6 teams get in a draft lottery, and that's supposed to discourage tanking because you're not guaranteed to have the number 1 pick just because you have the worst record. So in theory, why are you even trying to get the worst record? Because, it doesn't matter. Tim Kirkchin is saying, not a big difference between 1 and 6. So there are still going to be teams that race to the bottom and try to get into that lottery category. So tanking is one thing we heard about that was a big issue to the players, and it wasn't really addressed here. So something to watch for. You'll still see some teams that don't go for it, and that ultimately is bad for the sport. A lot of this today and a lot of this that we're hearing about the deal was good. Good for the sport, good for the players. This one, not so much. Tanking, there's not real punishment for tanking. There's not enough deterrence from tanking. It's the one thing we'll continue to monitor. It's the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV, AM and FM at WDEVradio.com. We're going to get to who's saying what at the end of the show today. We're going to do that at the end of the show. The story in USA Today yesterday about Kendall Ware. We knew about her allegations of sexual assault against a former UVM men's basketball player. We knew that of her allegations against the athletic department in helping cover it up, allegedly. What exactly is the new part of the Kendall Ware story? We'll tell you about that story from USA Today. That's next on the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV.
Hi, this is Emily McKenna, and I'm here to remind you that Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice is open for business to serve Central Vermonters of all ages with a wide array of acute medical needs in the safety, comfort, and privacy of home. CVHHH provides medically necessary skilled nursing and therapy care, social work support, and aid services to residents of 23 communities in Washington and Orange counties. In addition, we provide maternal and child health care and long-term care support, plus low-cost foot care clinics and free bereavement support groups. Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice is your local community home care provider. Our number 1 goal is to bring the right care to you where and when you want it. It is our mission to care for anyone who needs it, regardless of their insurance status or their ability to pay for care. This is our promise to you. This community is the bedrock of CVHHH, and we are proud of our roots in Central Vermont. Today and every day, Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice is here for you. To learn more about our services or to send us a question about care, visit cvhhh.org.
Push it, pull it, or tow it sale is back at Lamoille Valley Chevy. We would like to thank all our customers and our entire team for helping Lamoille Valley Chevy become the number 1 volume Chevy truck dealer in Vermont for the 2nd year in a row. Due to the success of the countdown to 4,000, our lot is now overstocked with more one-owner, low-mileage, late-model cars, trucks, and SUVs than I can remember, and I've instructed my entire team we need to sell them down. Here's how the push it, pull it, or tow it sale works. Through the end of March, anyone can push, pull, or tow any single trade to Lamoille Valley Chevy and get a $3,000 minimum trade allowance towards any in-stock pre-owned car, truck, or SUV on our lot. Don't worry. If your trade is worth more, you're going to get it. And folks, at Lamoille Valley Chevy, we have a huge selection of certified pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs that come with a better-than-new 100,000-mile warranty, and you can get a guaranteed minimum trade allowance of $3,000 on these vehicles, too. So get to the push it, pull it, or tow it sale happening right now now at Lamoille Valley Chevy. And remember, at Lamoille Valley Chevy, we know price matters.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending Ooma and their all-in-one phone, video, and collaboration solution.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
For some people, all they need to know about weather is the high temperature for the day. But if you're one of those people who really wants to understand the hows and whys of weather, especially here in the Green Mountain State, then Roger Hill's Weather Classroom podcast is for you. Some of the topics I'll explore are the types of precipitation, global temperature averages, and tropical cyclones. Roger Hill's Weather Classroom podcast is available at WDEVradio.com, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music.
Your chance to be part of the show is on the text line at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show, right here on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. Jazz with George Thomas comes up 30 minutes from now. George is already hanging out here, thinking about his set list for the 2 hours that he's on from 7 until 9, and then ESPN Radio takes over after that. I have now read the story from USA Today that re-brought up the Kendall Ware sexual assault allegations from 2020. I did not want to talk about this yesterday, not because I was ignoring it, but because I didn't have time to go through such a serious story properly. It came out. It took me a while to get access to it. Whatever. That's not important. I couldn't do it justice yesterday. Today I had time to really go through it and really read it and come up with opinions on it. I did, as I told you I would, effort the author of the story, Kyle Stucker from USA Today. I tried to get him on today. He could not come on today. He will join us next week. Here is the gist of the story. Kendall Ware is still a member of the UVM swim team. She made the allegation in 2020. She made the allegation in 2020 that in 2019, she was sexually assaulted by a UVM men's basketball player. So that's one. That's the reminder of what happened. 2, she alleges she was given the runaround by the athletic department on the reporting processes. She wanted the player disciplined. She alleges she was steered one way and then something else happened. So she is alleging that she was given bad information that would protect the player and not protect her. We knew that already, but it was re-brought up in this story. Ware says that now, here's kind of what's new. Ware says that now, UVM has dressed up some of its policies and beefed up some of its language, that they really haven't made substantive change at the university in the way that they do things. So she says, even though we've heard about changes and we've heard about this, that, and the other, Ware says not a lot different is actually happening. And then the thing that really, in addition to that, something else that struck a chord with me is that she's speaking out now. She's speaking out again because she reportedly wants to be an advocate for change. That's what's really new about this. She wants change, and she wants athletic departments, not just the UVM athletic department. She wants athletic departments around the country out of these kind of things because of their conflicts of interest. And she wants a better process for survivors to report things where they are given a fair shake and that the accused, if they are an athlete, is not the one being protected. There are so many layers to this story. And there are so many layers of this story dating back since 2020 when we first learned of the story. There's so much in this. So let me just start here. I hope Kendall Ware is okay. That is the most important thing. Before we talk about the athletic department, before we talk about the team, before we talk about the program, the university, the campus community, before we talk about any of it, I hope that Kendall Ware is okay. I can't pretend to know what she's feeling or what she's felt. I can't pretend to know the feeling of being allegedly abandoned by the group of people that signed up for you to trust, that signed up to protect you. I don't know what she's feeling. I don't know what she's felt. And I hope that she is okay. That is first and foremost. Secondly, as for her mission now, as for her quest now, I am totally with her, 100%. I don't think the athletic department should have much of a say, if at all, any say, in what happens when a report comes in against an athlete. I understand making the athletic department aware of a claim. I understand giving a heads up to the athletic department, but I don't think that anything more needs to happen then. On the accuser's end, nothing more needs to happen then. If the athletic department then wants to tell the accused that, they need a lawyer or whatever, or, that this is coming, then that's fine too. But beyond that, the athletic department needs to stay out of the way. Kendall Ware is right that the athletic department has a conflict of interest. And in this case, in her allegations, the athletic department chose to protect the accused instead of her. And the reason why, she alleges, is because the accused was a star basketball player. When the athletic department gets involved, understand this, the athletic department carries, they have something at risk. When an allegation like hers is made, the athletic department has something at risk, whether that be an actual on-field or on-court performance. If this player stops playing, we stand something to lose in that regard, whether it be a dent in recruiting or a dent in reputation or anything else. The athletic department has something at risk. So when you have something at risk, you inherently have a conflict of interest. Kendall Ware is trying to get rid of that conflict of interest, and I am 100% for it. I am 100% for that. It shouldn't be where the athletic department has to choose between protecting the accuser and protecting the accused for the sake of its own interest. It should not come down to that. And a fascinating story came out in this USA Today or fascinating statistic rather, came out in this USA Today article that in 2014, they found that more than 20% of colleges surveyed gave athletic departments oversight in sexual assault cases involving athletes. So this is not just allegedly a UVM problem. At 1 in 5 schools, the athletic department reportedly plays a role in how they handle accusations against athletes. Kendall Ware is trying to get rid of that. I am for that change. If Kendall Ware wants to report it to the athletic department, hey, this happened to me, fine, end it there. If she wants to give a heads up that, hey, this happened to me and my accuser is also in the athletic department, fine, end it there. That's it. Now she goes on somewhere else and somewhere else handles it. And to me, the athletic department should not have a say. That should be standard operating procedure. But evidently, at 20% of schools, at least as of 2014, the athletic department had a say here. She wants to take the conflict of interest away. I agree with her. Now, I am not smart enough to come up with the solution. There are people and advocates who dedicate their whole adult lives to coming up with solutions for issues like this. That is not me. But could a solution be that all incidents are reported to a trauma center on campus? Once after she goes to the athletic department, can you go to the trauma center and they take it from there? Well, I guess it's possible that the athletic department could go to them and lean on them. So maybe you don't want to do that. Okay. Is there a national independent body that can be created where reports go to and there's an independent investigation by somebody not in the campus community? Is that possible? I see a lot of people always ask, why didn't she or anybody else go to the police? Well, there's a million reasons why an alleged victim wouldn't go to the police. There's a million reasons why, and every person has their own reason. But could they go to a police station? And at the police station, there is a female counselor there where, hey, we're not necessarily looking to press charges, but I at least want to go and talk about this with somebody so I can get the best possible advice from somebody who has my best interest at heart rather than just the university's interest. I don't know that any of those are the right answer. Kendall Ware is trying to help figure out what that answer is, and I am for her exploring it and coming up with a better system than what we have now. I don't know what the answer is, honestly. I like to come in here every day and have a position and have a take and think I have the answer. This one is above me. I don't have the answer, but I'm with her that the athletic department should not be part of coming up with the answer. And finally, I'll just end it on this. I am not a journalist. There was a long time, the first couple of years in this business, I thought that I was a journalist. And every now and then I'll break something, but it's not often. And I don't usually go looking to break things. I am not a journalist. I am an opinionist. I am not out there in the weeds reporting. I'm learning a lot of these details about the Kendall Ware case at the same speed as you are. Okay, for the most part, I'm learning it at the same speed as you are. My reaction is this. Don't just write off Kendall Ware's claims. I don't specifically know what happened in this case, and I don't specifically know what happened in any other case. But don't just write off someone's claims. There are people that want to sweep it under the rug. There are people that want to say it's not true. You don't know what's not true, and I don't know what's not true. Don't discredit her story. Don't dismiss her allegations against the player. Don't dismiss her allegations against the athletic department. I don't know what's true, but I know that these allegations, and there have been multiple allegations, at least against the basketball team, they at least deserve to be taken seriously and looked at through a critical lens and not through, a fan lens. So I'll leave it at that for right now. The whole story is dirty. If her version of the story is the true version, then it makes you feel dirty that an athlete went to the athletic department for help and they allegedly turned their back on her. That's very hard to hear, think about, and reconcile with. So, but as for what she's looking for now, looking to remove the conflict of interest. I am with her on that. Again, the author of the story, Kyle Stucker from USA Today, he'll be with us at some point next week. He could not do it today. We did try. It's the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. We come back. Who's saying what? Somebody else smart saying what I've been saying. This is multiple times this week that smart people are agreeing with me. The world better watch out. Maybe I'm smarter than I appear sometimes. I don't know. We'll talk about what people are saying next on DEV.
Folks, with inventory issues still affecting dealers across our industry, at Lamoille Valley Ford, we have found the solution for getting you into a new vehicle. Tell them, kid.
Thanks, Dan. At Lamoille Valley Ford, we're ready for retail. That's right. We are ready to retail order your new Ford today at Lamoille Valley Ford. With our high-volume sales history, there's no better dealership to custom order your new Ford car, truck, or SUV. We're prioritizing your personalized vehicle and doing whatever we can to expedite delivery so you don't have to wait any longer than you have to. And get this, when you retail order from Lamoille Valley Ford, we will discount your order an additional $1,000. Combine that with huge Ford discounts and incentives, you can take up to $6,000 off a retail ordered F-150. That's huge. Need a vehicle today? No worries. At Lamoille Valley Ford, we have by far Vermont's largest selection of new Fords, including over 150 F-Series trucks in stock and incoming.
Woo! So drive Route 14, 15, or 16 to Lamoille Valley Ford in Hardwick and save big during our Ready for Retail sales event.
Hello, I'm Penny Hester Ingram, a speech-language pathologist at Copley Hospital. I treat children and adults for a broad range of communication disorders, including voice issues, swallowing disorders, and problems with articulation, fluency, comprehension, and cognitive abilities. The first step in developing a treatment plan is assessing the patient's strengths and needs. I do this through an evaluation, which includes discussing the patient's history, observing the problems, and discussing the patient's goals as well as that of the family. Treatment is a step-by-step process. Families also play a vital role in treatment as they help to bring the techniques used in the clinic to the home. If you or a family member could benefit from the services offered through Copley Hospital's Speech-Language Pathology Department, call 802-888-8303
or log on to copyvt.org.
Lashawna spent more than 5 years in foster care. I was getting older. I didn't think I'd be adopted. But with help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Lashawna now has a forever family and the foundation for a bright future.
When I was adopted, it was like, wow, this is permanent.
You can help find permanent homes for children still lingering in foster care. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
New to podcast or looking for some variety to add to your current rotation? Check out the selection of locally and nationally produced podcasts on the WDEV website. You'll find podcasts of WDEV's own Vermont Viewpoint with Ricks and Gary, Travels with Charlie, For the Birds, Healthcare Today, and The Brady Farkas Show. In addition, you can access podcasts from ESPN and CBS, all for free. Find the complete selection of podcasts at WDEVradio.com.
Make your opinion heard by texting onto the Brady Farkas Show at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show, right here on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. Jazz with George Thomas coming up here in about 15 minutes. Reminder, Sunday is now championship day for high school basketball. Our coverage will begin at 11:45. Championship Saturday snowed out, so moved to championship Sunday. All right, we do this every single day. Let's get to Who's Saying What.
Whoa. What did he say?
Mac Jones. Good Lord. Mel Kiper's got to slow down on this. Mac Jones ain't going to work, folks. It's not going to work. He's got to come to terms with it. It's not going to work.
They really said that?
Every damn thing is politics and race, and I'm losing my mind over it.
It's time for Who's Saying What on the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
Who's Saying What? Brought to you by Vermont Laser Wash, Central Vermont's home of unlimited car washes. Begins at just $20 a month. You want unlimited car washes, again, just $20 a month. If you want one free car wash, all you need to do is text the word Vermont to the number 30 and then 400. Do you remember what I said the other day? The other day I said that the Patriots didn't do good planning when it came to J.C. Jackson. I called it a gross miscalculation. I'm like, how could the Pats get rid of J.C. Jackson when they have no discernible in-house option to replace him? Well, Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal, he came out and said this just today.
I hate the J.C. Jackson decisions. I think that the best thing for the Patriots would be for J.C. Jackson to play on the tag at $17.3 million. You just 2 years ago, you tagged Joe Tooney, a guard, and gave him $15.
That's not the right one. Give me the one about planning.
I mean, to me, this is another franchise tag mistake by Bill Belichick. He's not planning ahead anymore. He gets caught behind. We talked about it at the time.
Okay. I don't know whether it's fair to say that Bill Belichick is not planning anymore, period. I don't know that that's fair. What is fair is what I said the other day. The Patriots did not plan well here. with J.C. Jackson, the Patriots did not plan well. That is what's fair to say. When they got rid of Revis, Talib, when they got rid of all these guys, Malcolm Butler, Stephon Gilmore, they always had an answer internally. Now, they're left holding the bag. They needed to keep J.C. Jackson. They needed to tag him. They need to work out a deal with him. And now he's going to leave and he's going to get his money. And the Patriots will be left wondering what the hell just happened to us in our secondary. I don't think it's fair to say that Belichick doesn't plan, period. It is fair to say the Patriots and Belichick did not plan well here. I think the Patriots planned fine in 2020. They went in, they stepped back, they got the money situation under control. They immediately spent big in the next offseason, which was last offseason. That was a smart, prudent plan. That was a plan. This wasn't. At quarterback, I think they had a plan. They had a bridge quarterback. They had a guy they liked. They thought Cam was good. They went out and they found a more long-term answer in Mac Jones. I think the planning was pretty prudent there as well. So I still think planning is something that they do, but this one, it was not done well here. But it all leads into another discussion that I have actually been hearing quite a bit of lately. And this one came from Ted Johnson of NBC Sports Boston, former Patriots linebacker. It's actually from a couple of days ago, but I've been hearing a lot of this various places.
And so I think that's all on the board. I mean, for so long, Bill Belichick got the unconditional kind of benefit of the doubt, if you will, because of the 6 rings, because of the success here. And now clearly the way the seasons have been ending and how the team has looked, I think it's right for Patriots fans to kind of question.
The questions are being raised about Bill Belichick. It's always been in Bill we trust. Can that still be the case? People are starting to wonder. I don't think it's fair for Greg Bedard to say that he doesn't plan anymore, but it's all part of a larger discussion where people are now starting to, for the first time, question Bill Belichick and even turn on him. I also don't know that is entirely fair, but I will tell you what I do worry about. I wonder just how many differing viewpoints are now in the Patriots organization. We've always known that Bill Belichick had final say, but I also thought there were enough voices in the room to at least make him think and at least make him consider. I'm wondering if what's happening now in New England is the Patriots have a bunch of yes men. And I don't think that would be good. The Patriots have a staff. I hope that staff is being trusted and empowered to speak up. And I don't know that that's the case. The veteran members of the staff, the veteran members of Belichick's trust group, they're mostly all gone. Nick Caserio had Belichick's ear. He is gone. Brian Flores had Belichick's ear. He is gone. Josh McDaniels had Belichick's ear. He is gone. There's not that many people, I think, that could stand up to or question Belichick or move the conversation with Belichick in a way that it's not just do what Bill wants. Do the Patriots have a bunch of yes men now? That's the question. Matt Patricia and Joe Judge are back, but you know, like when your girlfriend takes you back, you break up, your girlfriend takes you back, and you kind of lose the right to complain for a while. Like you cheat on your girlfriend. She brings you back. You don't really have the right to complain about anything for a while. You just kind of have to suck it up and bear it because you're indebted to her for bringing you back. That's kind of where Joe Judge and Matt Patricia are at. Now, they didn't cheat on Bill Belichick, but they left the organization. They owe the second acts of their career to Belichick. I don't think the first thing you want to do in your second act is go and call him out in the office. So I think we're going to get a bunch of young coaches that nod their head, yes, Bill, yes, Bill, yes, Bill. And your older coaches are now in a position where they owe Belichick. And they know they owe Belichick. So they're not really ready right now to step up to him. I don't know that it's fair. I'm not there every day. I don't know that it's fair to just out and out question if Bill Belichick still has it. But I do question if the people that would question him are not there anymore. And you need people like that to be in your organization. You need people who can challenge you. You need people who can stand up to you. You need people who can make you think critically. And I don't know that the Patriots have that right now. I don't know that they don't. They might. Gerard Mayo is there. Maybe Steve Belichick can stand up to Dad. Maybe the other Belichick can stand up to him. Maybe. But I know that the guys that definitely could, I know they're not there. And that would be the thing that worries me. As we look here, in addition to the coaching turnover and the impact it may have on Mac Jones, the impact it may have on Bill Belichick might be important to watch as well. It's the Brady Farkas Show here on WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. I want to remind everybody, America East title game tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., nationally televised game. Our guy, Doug Sherman, who we had on earlier, he's going to be on the call on ESPN. 11 a.m., Catamounts, UMBC. Before the game tips off, I've got the pregame show. 9 a.m. until 10:30. Everybody at WDEV is pumped about it. Corm's pumped about it. Steven, the digital guy, is pumped about it. Lee's pumped about it. I'm pumped about it. Everybody here is excited about this venture. 9 a.m. until 10:30. I'm going to be broadcasting live. It's not going to be live on the radio. Why? Because that time, that's Jack Donovan's time. Jack Donovan's been here for a long time. I'm not going to go and try to bump Jack Donovan off the air. Music to go to the dump by, Outlaw Saturday morning. We're keeping that on the air as tradition. That's where it belongs. I'm going to go on the digital side of things. I hope that you'll give it a chance. I hope that you'll join me. WDEV's Facebook page, WDEV's YouTube channel. Just go and watch us. Video component, video interviews. I may have somebody sitting down next to me. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am looking forward to it. Dave Kane is going to stop by, former UVM broadcaster, now the voice of the Milwaukee Bucks. He started in Burlington, and now Milwaukee Bucks. Dave Kane's going to be with us, I think, at about 10:15. My old radio partner, Arnie Spanier, 9:30. He's going to stop by. Sam Hyman, former Catamount broadcaster as well. He's on at 9:15. A lot of guests, kind of car wash style guests, a lot of different stories, a lot of different perspectives. We'll do the keys to the game as well. And we'll have a lot of fun. Hey, if you're not going to the game and you're just going to wait for the snowstorm, you might as well watch. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, WDEV. Just search for us. Go to WDEV's Facebook page. You'll see we're live. Hang out and watch for a bit. You're going to be able to comment in real time. You're going to be able to watch in real time. Going to be a lot of fun, and I cannot wait for it. So go download the podcast. Remember, after the show, go download all the interviews as well. We're going to have that. So podcast channel will be updated right after the show ends. Jazz with George Thomas is coming up next. High school basketball now Sunday. America East title game tomorrow. And hopefully, by the time we talk to Coach Brennan on Tuesday, we're talking about UVM in after a selection Sunday where they've gotten a seed where they can pull an upset. That's the goal. Catamounts and UMBC tomorrow, 11 a.m. Podcast available after the show tonight. Live broadcast tomorrow, 9 to 10:30. We will see you tomorrow. Red Sox still have done nothing. Come on, Heim. Get on the phone with somebody. We need a starter. We need an outfielder. Saya Suzuki. That's the guy I want by Monday. We'll see you there, everybody. It's the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV, AM and FM.
WDEV at 90 is underwritten by Northfield Savings Bank. They're the bank of you and everything you do at nsbvt.com. Member